Update 6, and therefore the new progression system is here in Forza Motorsport. So today I want to take you along as I explore the system for the first time. And I haven't done this in a while, but I want to do it kind of live, so you get my actual first impressions, and you also get to see my approach to car building, tuning, and then taking the car to multiplayer, testing a little bit and maybe adjusting the tune further. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's the plan today. We are gonna build this car that everybody should have, the 2019 Subaru STI S209. And I have bought a new one, so we actually get to experience what it would be like if you had a car at just level 1. Because the big change in Forza Motorsport with the patch is that we have way more freedom to actually build the car that we want without having to drive it and level it first. So let's go into tuning right away. You can see we have 300 car points available, as you have with a level 1 car. And normally in the old patch we wouldn't have been able to do basically anything here. But you can see already everything is unlocked. We can do everything, well, anything we want to do. And well, I'm just gonna try to build a car for A-Class today. This week there is the multiplayer open series in A-Class with 4-cylinder cars, which is a little bit strange of a choice to have that restriction, but it's the case. And so we are not gonna do an engine swap because we need a 4-cylinder engine, which this car has stock. We could of course also do engine swaps right away, and don't worry about the non-available car points. We don't need those. If we don't have them, we can use credits, as we're gonna see in a little bit. What we are gonna do here in the conversion section is getting the white body kit. I think that's a good idea for this car, and that's about it. Yeah, let's take a rear wing. There's probably the, yes, this one. That's fitting to the body kit, I think. Then we are gonna do a transmission. We're gonna do a race transmission and probably also race differential, so we can adjust this. This is an all-wheel drive car, so also something that some people in the community wanted to see. So we're gonna see how tuning that is like. What else? Wheels. I think wheels we're gonna skip for now. We definitely need tire compound. So as almost always with any car that's above like E or D class, you're gonna go for race tires. And I'm also, since we have the body kit, we can go really wide on the tires, which I think is a good idea for this car. So let's go maximum on this. In platform and handling, let's take race brakes. We could go for sport. That might be enough. There's a difference of 4 PI. Let's do that maybe. And springs and dampeners, I think we're gonna take race. So we have full adjustability there. Anti-roll bars I always take. Weight reduction is something that we want. I don't know if we want the maximum, because then we don't have much in terms of putting points into engine power. As you can see, that would already put us at 682. So I think for now we're gonna take sport weight reduction. Roll cage. That could be, we are also gonna check our weight right now is 1490 kilograms. So if we do this, we are, well, it's a little bit up there, but it might be worth it to have our car a little bit more stiff and therefore a little bit better behaved. I think we're gonna do it. This is gonna be not an optimal build, I can already say that. For an optimal build, you will have to do a lot of testing, get on track, see what works, what doesn't. This is just gonna be a quick build for the A-Class series, and we're gonna see how it goes. And if this is actually a good car to take, I don't know. But yeah, I wanted to take you along for how I would go about just doing a quick build for a car. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So in fuel and air, so we're getting some power now. Let's see if we can get a turbo. We can't. That would already put us in S-Class, where we don't want to be. So I think we're gonna go with the fuel system, the ignition, all those things, reduce our weight and improve our power and torque, which is good. Also can take the race exhaust. The air filter. Yeah, I think air filter is good. So we go to sport here and we are almost at 700. And this is now the point where it's just basically filler parts. So I could go for rims, for example. I think I want to see if we can maybe get a flywheel. Yeah, we can, at least the street one. And then I guess I don't think we can take lighter wheels. That would probably take us, if there are any lighter wheels here. There really aren't. Okay, maybe in the other section here. There was one. Yeah, we can't take lighter wheels, so I'm not gonna do that. Clutch probably also is too expensive. And driveline. Okay, driveline we can at least take the street one. So I think that is basically what we're gonna do. We are now at 700 PI, which is where we wanna be. We have the 4-cylinder engine for A-Class in the multiplayer open series. I think this is a good starting point. As I said, probably not the optimal build, but I think it should be fine and we're gonna see how it works. But first, we're now gonna head to fine-tuning after we've installed all the parts. And speaking of installing those parts, if we now do that, we don't have enough car points. And this is part of the new progression system. We can now get more car points. And we do that by just accepting this and seeing here we need 6,900 CP car points, and that costs us 62,000 credits, which really isn't much, which I think is a very good thing. They didn't make it really expensive. I mean, of course, if you build a lot of cars and put loads of engine swaps and all those things that cost a lot of PI in, then it might be at some point a problem that you run out of credits. But if you just do this from time to time with some cars, I don't think you are gonna run out of credits. You can see how much I have, but that's a little bit inflated because I have some tunes shared that give me money regularly. So it's, as I said, a little bit inflated. You probably won't have as much, but it depends, I guess. Yeah, it also depends on how much you play. But as you can see, it doesn't cost much if you just do like a middle of the road build, I would say. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna get this CP, and without leveling the car, without driving it at all. I mean, yes, I've driven the other one, but I've gotten this new at level 1. So we were able to just install everything we wanted without having to bother with anything. And that is really good because we can then try out a lot of different cars without having to level them first and putting a lot of time in the car and then seeing that it really isn't a fit for a specific series. You could see how fast this was. And yeah, we're now gonna head into fine-tuning. So let's do that. In fine-tuning, we are also just gonna do some very basic adjustments. I don't want to spend a lot of time on the tune. We're gonna see how this all works. I generally reduce tire pressures quite a bit. Let's maybe go a little bit lower on the rear even. And for gearing, this looks like it could use a little bit more acceleration, so we actually make use of the 6th gear, which also I think can be a little bit shortened, or maybe like that. I don't know, maybe not even necessary. I think this should be totally fine. Maybe the 1st gear is too long here. That is something we can only find out if we try the car. If that's the case, we can adjust, so that's not a big deal. Camber on this car is interesting, that it's very low in the front and quite high in the rear. I think we're gonna reduce the rear a little bit, maybe to this, and I guess we'll leave the front for now. I don't know if this is good. We can check in-game if we want to, and I don't think we need front tow. Front caster is quite high already, which is nice. And anti-roll, since this is an all-wheel drive car and I'm expecting a lot of understeer actually, well, actually, then I don't think I would increase the front as much and probably more just the rear. We're gonna see if we maybe have some oversteer with this and then would increase the front a little bit. But yeah, that's just initial thoughts here. I think we are gonna make the car quite a bit more soft on the suspension. This is also just a feel thing for me here. I would expect it to be a little bit softer maybe. Actually, I would expect it to be softer on the front because it's a front wheel or a front engine car with all-wheel drive. Let's put it like this. I don't know if this is good. We are gonna reduce the ride height a bit, like maybe put it 2 clicks up from the minimum. As I said, not something I'm gonna spend a huge amount of time on fine-tuning. You can of course always do that. That's always a thing. Also gonna just do some basic adjustments here for the dampening. once again, things that I do if I just want to get a quick tune up and see how it goes. I've already heard that increasing roll center a bit is probably a good idea, both on the front and the rear. I'm gonna try that. If it doesn't feel good, we can always change that back. And I feel like this already looks quite good. In terms of anti-squat, I think is the big one here. If we make it as stiff as it is here, that probably should help us in getting out of corners without understeering too much, hopefully. We'll see if that's actually the case. Once again, in aero, just some basic adjustments. Gonna just do, well, the very basics here, maximum on front and minimum on rear. So we have maximum top speed and high speed acceleration, but good grip on the front in the corners, hopefully. I'm guessing that we will need a little bit of rear brake bias. That should help us a little bit on brakes. But as I said, something we will hopefully figure out. And now we come to the differential. This is something where some people have asked in the past if I could do a guide on this. I don't want to make a full guide on differential tuning for all-wheel drive cars. They are very rare, I think, in Forza Motorsport multiplayer at least, but we are gonna do some changes here. So basically, all-wheel drive differential is the front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive differential ideas combined. So we are gonna do 100-0 for the front, as we would do in a front-wheel drive car. On the rear, we are gonna do something that is kind of akin to what you would do in a rear-wheel drive car. So I think 70% on the acceleration is pretty fine. Deceleration seems quite high, but maybe that's necessary, but I think I'm gonna go down to 20 for now. And then we have the balance. So that's the balance between the front and the rear. And if we put this more towards the rear, which we are gonna do, this would make it a little bit feel a little bit more like a rear-wheel drive car, which is something that I want because I really want that characteristic of not having it too much of a front-wheel drive feel and understeering too much. So I'm starting with 75%. Don't know if that's gonna be good. That's something we will see in testing and then hopefully adjust. And then there's just the force feedback skill. I, from experience, will turn this down for these road cars. It's a little bit high for me, so I'm gonna go down to 90, but that's just for me and my personal wheel settings, so not something you need to adjust. But yeah, that's it for fine-tuning for now. So I guess I will now see if I can find a multiplayer session where we have also some practice still ongoing, so we can take a look at the car, how it feels, and if we need to do some adjustments, and then we will hopefully get into a nice multiplayer race. So see you there. So here we are in multiplayer, and I've actually found a session where there's still quite a lot of practice ongoing, so we have plenty of time to figure out if the car is actually good for this and if we can maybe adjust something in fine-tuning. So only thing I will do now is go to fuel and tire, just take I don't know, let's take 5 laps of fuel and go for the soft tires for now. Or actually, let's take mediums, because I don't know, we probably will need mediums for the race, so that's something which is probably a wise idea for testing. You can of course test also with softs for qualifying, but if you want to do a tune for a race, it's almost always a good idea to actually drive on the tire compound that you are gonna race on, so you actually get a feeling. So yeah, we'll just head out and see what the car feels like. And I don't know if this is gonna be good, fast, bad, slow. We don't know. Let's actually switch to the correct camera perspective here. Oh, there's someone else on track as well. And we're just gonna see what the car feels like, if we need to do something with tuning still. So wanted to give them a little bit of space here. There's someone else behind as well. And we're just gonna see what this is like. So I'm kind of expecting the car to still understeer a bit, but we'll see. So far felt actually kind of good. Something I will do a lot of the time is actually open the telemetry, and here I will check first for the power band, so where do I need to shift, and it's probably not a good idea to do this in Eau Rouge. So you can see the power on the left side, it's still rising kilowatts, so we are at 300 almost. And it's now going down at 6,500 RPM. So I probably will want to shift around that point, maybe a little later. Of course, always have the build up if you shift up to the next gear, where you will be lower at first in terms of power. So it might be worth staying in the gear for a little bit, but that's generally the idea, that I take a look at where does the power dip once again. So where is your power band? It's something that you can't see anywhere else, sadly. That was the case in previous games, that you had a graph for the power band. Not the case anymore, so it's something that you can find out there. And this guy in front is actually a little bit blocking, so let's try to overtake him here. If we can, maybe. Okay, power-wise, seems like we are struggling a little, but we should be quite okay on handling, and we did overtake him now. So, so far, car doesn't feel bad. We are gonna open telemetry once again, but not this one, but this one. This is a very important screen as well. Here you can take a look at camber, for example, and you should always take a look at the outside tires when you're going into a corner and see that the camber there doesn't dip, well, or go above the negatives, so it doesn't dip into the positives. That's what I wanted to say. So far, haven't been seeing that. Yeah, as I said, it's something where you can, that's a general guideline, that even on cornering and heavy load, you shouldn't dip into positive values. And you can see in the front, it is sometimes doing that. So we should probably lower the front camber a little bit, or go more towards the negative values. But other than that, I think values look quite fine. We are gonna do that change right away. It's something that you can always do. Just head to the settings and go to car, tune car. You can do that on track, even in multiplayer. So we are gonna do a little bit more, like maybe let's do 0.09, and we're gonna change that. And let's resume here. Don't need to go for a new lap. And we're just gonna drive a little bit more and see if we can notice anything else that is maybe not that great about this car. So, not expecting this to go flat up on Rouge. This is not a race car, but it's actually doing kind of fine. Just did a little bit of braking and lifted off throttle. So far, looking quite good. And yeah, we're gonna just do this lap here, see if we need to do any changes, and then I will not bore you with the rest of this practice, and I will show you the race afterwards. But yeah, for now, let's see if we can maybe figure out if there's something still wrong. It feels still a little bit understeery, I have to say. Overall, just seems to just push over the front axle a little bit too much. You can hear the tire scrubbing, and really the rear doesn't step out at all. So that's something where we can maybe make some settings a little bit more aggressive. You can see that here as well. So actually, we are gonna head into the car tuning once again. So just to give you an idea of what I would do if I were tuning the car. So for now, I'm just gonna reduce front anti-roll bar. Well, actually maybe a little bit more still. Let's maybe go to 15, put it at the maximum in the rear, so we have more rotation, hopefully in slower parts. We are also gonna do a little bit more in terms of brake bias. Let's maybe go to 48%. And then we have this here, which is our differential. Let's go down to, well, let's maybe like 13% here on the rear, and let's put this maybe to 85% on acceleration, and we are gonna make it even more of a rear-wheel drive feel in terms of the differential by putting the balance more towards the rear. So let's try that, and if that feels better, or if this is maybe now too aggressive, this can always be the case. And if you feel like you've overdone it, just undo the changes that you did, try again, and yeah, go from there. It's always a little bit of an iterative process to figure out what you actually want to or need to change on a car. In my experience, it's best to do small changes and only, well, a couple of them at a time to see what those actually do. But so far, not feeling all too bad, I have to say. could probably even go more aggressive on this. Something that we also want to check, which is what I'm gonna do now. So if you don't know, if you want to see if the car has good start, so if the first gear is actually good enough, you can see didn't feel all that fast in acceleration. I think we can actually make the first gear a little bit shorter. Looked like it for me. It's not a huge deal, but we are gonna do that. So once more into the tuning section. So if I wanted to do that, I wanted to make the first gear a little bit shorter. Do it like this. Would make the second gear then a little bit adjusted, and maybe the third as well. Yeah, maybe do all the gears a little bit like so, and that would be probably fine. We lose a little bit of top speed now, but it's very marginal, and we could even just do final drive a little bit adjusted here, and that would be probably good. And we are gonna make this car even more aggressive, I feel like. So let's go down, let's do 8, 9, whatever. And on the differential side, let's maybe even go to 90%. Might be a little bit too much, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna try for now. And so yeah, this is basically what I would do in terms of adjustments. You are free to just take your own approach and do the changes that you feel are right for the car. But this is basically the approach that I take. Normally, if I do a tune properly, I take way more time and do it a little bit more thoroughly and more methodically. But if you just want to do a quick tune and want to get the car up to speed, so to say, get the car really the way that you want it to feel, then you can definitely do that. And I can already see now it's now sliding a little bit too much on the rear for me. So I would actually go back to the tune and see that we maybe increase this back a little bit and go to the differential and put it back down to 85%. That should be totally fine, and we should be good on that front. Always also take a look if you're testing that your tires aren't degraded too much. Mine are still fine since I took the mediums, but you definitely need to take care that you don't overdrive the tires and then feel like your car isn't behaving the way you want, and that's just because of tire degradation. Something else to quickly touch upon, since we've done the upgrading in the beginning and we haven't taken a look at that again, is because we can't do that here in multiplayer. Maybe there's something that could be changed there. It's a very handling focused build. I tried to put some power in. It was some, but maybe it will not be enough against some of the other cars. You can already see someone else behind me does seem to have more power and is definitely faster here on the straights. But maybe we can well, compensate in terms of our handling and maneuverability. We'll see if that's actually the case. So far, as I say, car feels good. It's an all-wheel drive, so it should feel quite good on handling. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to show for now in this practice. So I'm gonna be back once we get to the race, and we're gonna see what that's gonna be like in this car. Okay, here we are. I actually also almost forgot to qualify. Managed to get it to 4th place in the end. Only did 1 valid lap, so let's see how this goes. It's a full grid, well, almost full, 22 players, so let's see how this goes. And I'm a little bit scared for turn 1, I have to say. Kind of knew this was going to happen, but we are alive. You can see all manner of different cars, just the beauty of open class. And as I said, I think with the changes of being able to just take any car and just try if it works, this should be a very good change for Open Series. And damn it, that's a big penalty. But just cutting a bit, probably should have lifted a little bit more. That's a little bit unfortunate. And you can see some people definitely opting for more of a power build and definitely faster, and definitely not paying attention if there's someone besides them.
Total time penalty is
And I get an off-track violation for that. That's screw. What the hell? Okay, that seemed on purpose, okay. And what the... I'm always so amazed by the driving in Forza. I don't know why people are driving like this, but they are. So, I don't know what I was expecting, I have to say. 3 wide here. And yeah, that was maybe a little bit my fault. The guy on the inside was half a second penalty. That's... I don't know if that's warranted. Well, I don't know. Don't want to judge here. But the guy on the inside was very much trying to park on the apex. So... didn't really have anywhere to go. I can already feel that I definitely am advantaged in all these situations where handling is needed, but I do lack power, at least a little bit. You can see here, it's actually, yeah, we did clear him fully. So, yeah, definitely in the handling sections we are a little bit better, but you can see someone already coming up from behind. Don't know where he is now. Oh, he's gone again? I don't know. Yeah, definitely losing out in the power sections where you need acceleration top speed. So this guy directly in front seems to be very much a power build. And here in Spa, probably power reigns supreme, but I mean Sector 2 and even 3 to a degree are also quite handling focused, so might be something where I can catch up. 2 in front, you can see pulling away on the straight, but if I do this right, I can actually carry way more speed through En Rouge. It wasn't even perfect here. But I think I will lose out in the end on the straight. Yeah, you can see he is catching. And even the other guy, which is now not great because I am once again sandwiched and almost losing the car because people are just driving really reckless. Don't know if that's really necessary. Trying to take the inside line here, take advantage of my better handling. Always a difficult thing if you are in a handling car and driving against the more... Wow, that's a big penalty for such a small off-track. Wow. Okay, we're getting penalties left and right, and also forgetting to brake for this corner. That's not great. Let's hope I don't get a penalty for this. Should have lost a lot of time there, so... yeah, definitely should be advantage in the handling sections, but if someone overtakes you who is just fast on the straight but slower in the handling sections, it's then a little bit tough to actually make use of your advantage. So sometimes it's a little bit better if you're actually in a more, at least a little bit more of a power build, because then you can overtake on the straights and actually try to defend in the handling sections. I definitely gained a little bit here, but since I have a 2.7 second penalty, don't judge me. I need to make up quite some time if I want to keep this position. We are now in second. Let's see if we can do that. Braking quite late for bus stop. Maybe could even brake a little later. Definitely making it through this one way better than the guys behind me. But the next straight section where I will lose out again is coming up. Late for turn 1 and trying to get it nicely rotated around this corner. Yeah, as you can see, I'm advantaged at this, but now will lose out again. If you take a look at the delta in the top left, guy behind is catching quickly, but he also did get a penalty. So now let's try to get through En Rouge nicely. That didn't look all too bad. By the way, I took soft tires, which you can see they do have a lot of tire wear. I thought 3 laps should be fine on softs, and it looks like we can make it, but we will feel this in the end, at least on the front tires. And the guy behind is once again there, caught up completely on the camel straight. But we are in an advantage situation now because he wasn't able to overtake, and we are faster here. So let's see, we need a 1.1 second gap if we want to stay in P2. And now I can definitely feel the tire degradation, so that's not great. Oversteering a little bit more than before. Oh yeah, I really need to take care that we can hopefully get this second place home. Oh yeah, definitely more on the steer now. So there might be some changes I would make to the setup afterwards. I'm not gonna now. I just gonna leave it as is. I just wanted to show you in this video that it is way easier now to just pick a car that you want to take into open class and, well, just drive it there. And don't have to worry about, okay, I need to level it first and then I need to see if it's actually good and what I would need to do, and maybe I don't have all the parts unlocked yet. That's all gone, and I think that's a very good thing. So props to Turn 10 for getting this done now. Why is he ramming into me instead of overtaking? That is confusing. Okay. Not quite sure what that was. And another big penalty. Okay. Well, that's not gonna be second place then. But also, the tire choice might have been wrong. But yeah, I don't want to make this video super long now. So yeah, I think I've shown what I wanted to show. And this should be a third place here. It's not bad. I think this car could be quite decent for taking into open class. We'll see if that's actually the case. It's definitely something where you can now experiment a lot more. Just take a car, try it out. If it doesn't work, you've just spent some credits and nothing else. And I think that's a really good thing. I really am happy that this change has been made, and I will now hopefully be able to do way more open class, which in the past has been very difficult because you would need to invest a lot of time into multiple cars to try them out. Now that would be way easier. So let me know what you think. Do you also enjoy this change? Did you enjoy this look at this change and how I was hopefully explaining what I was thinking while I was going through building this car? Was this helpful to you? Do you want to see more of that? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And other than that, I just want to thank you so much for watching. I've been HG Racing. See you next time.